about them Irish?
I can't take it anymore. I need a national championship.
This is the Four Horsemen Podcast.
Jeremiah Love should win the Heisman. Prove me wrong. Does anyone on this podcast disagree with that?
I don't think I legally can because we are a propaganda podcast.
And yeah, I mean it's just a fact of the matter. Because what's the what are the parameters or what do they look for in a Heisman? Because an offensive lineman has won it before, like defensive players have won it before, and Travis Hunter won it last year, where his team had 3 losses. They were 9-3, so it's traditionally obviously gone to quarterbacks, and we know that at least in recent history, running backs do get it from time to time. Like I think Mark Ingram might be the last running back, but I think the parameter is that it's the most valuable player to his team that plays at the highest, most excellent level. I mean, he that just describes Jeremiah Love to a T. So, Dylan, do you have? I know you've been, as I've filibustered, you've been Googling it. Do you have the actual parameters for the award?
I do. It's awarded for the most outstanding performance, which best exhibits the pursuit of excellence with integrity. Winners epitomize great ability, combined with diligence, perseverance, and hard work. Well, I'll tell you what, an autistic running back who hurdles motherfuckers and runs for 90-plus yard touchdowns, I think that meets the criteria of perseverance, diligence, hard work. He's got lots of integrity. He's talking shit to his own bench. That's the most integrity you can get.
I can't believe how many people on Twitter are like, how do you know he's talking shit to his own bench? It's like one of my few tweets I've ever done, and people are questioning me. Like, he turned his head completely left, and you see it bobbling. Like, he's running his mouth. I don't know what he's saying. You could be hyping him up.
Welcome to the Four Horsemen Podcast, dear listener. Dylan, Tim, Steve, we're here after a disgusting game against Boston College. We'll get into that, and a big Navy week coming up. So, Tim, you've got takes on this game, and I feel like you should start us off because the takes are important to have.
Yeah, and the very first one is, I want to say this very loud and clear for the entire world to hear. Usually when I spend $130 to watch Notre Dame football, I'm at the game. Fuck you, ESPN, and fuck you, YouTube TV, for making me have to buy Fubo TV at an up cost just to be able to watch this game. By the way, Fubo TV has more options, but it is way jankier as far as the app goes. You're trying to go from channel to channel. It takes a minute for it to load. It's nowhere near as good as the YouTube TV app. But I felt like I owed them allegiance for getting that free Notre Dame-Stanford game, the last ever game for the Pac-12, and the Pac-12 network sign-off in memoriam broadcast they had that day. So I was like, all right, I guess I owe you something. But then ESPN, on top of us making us do that, then you make us channel hop from ESPN to ESPNU because Miami ran over because they suck ass. So all around, pretty bad experience for everyone that loves college football this weekend that has YouTube TV. If you have cable, good for you. We all got bamboozled into buying into this bullshit. I don't know what you guys have. Do either of you have it?
I have Fubo for Premier League football, soccer in Canada, so I am familiar with it. It is janky. I don't love it, but it does the job. Also, how crazy is it that the last ever Pac-12 broadcast ends with Notre Dame beating Stanford, and like those are the last scenes of the Pac-12 conference? There's just something about that.
Yeah, and now they're both in the ACC. Like this rivalry should have ended with that station.
I'm a Stanford rivalry defender.
I know you were. I'm not. How'd you watch the game, Steve?
Did a shitload of chores in the morning, per usual. It's dad life. And then, as Mama Bear went out to dinner with some friends, me and the little baby bear were just hanging out. And I was teaching her, how to read a cover 2 defense, or in the case of in the case of the this particular game, cover zero, because they were just adamant about stacking the box, trying to stop Jeremiah Love. Although, they bottled him up for a little bit, and then he hit the home run. But they were just pretty much perfectly fine with C.J. Carr just tossing the ball right over their heads to just wide open receivers with no safety help. So, it was very interesting to teach my daughter that this is how not to run a defense.
Which I'd like to jump ahead because this is one of the last things I have on here, but you just kind of talked about it. They're always going to stack the box in short yardage situations, especially like 3rd and short, 4th and short, in the red zone. So why not just throw the ball? We have a quarterback that can do it. We don't have to be afraid to do it anymore. We don't have to run into the wall. We can throw it over the top of them. And we have had success or successful chances multiple times, almost every time we do it. I remember that 4th down throw that went through our receiver's hands because it was a little overthrown against, I can't remember who, but it was at home. It's like 3 or 4 weeks ago. And I've seen it a few other times. I just don't understand why we can't just throw the ball, especially when we have guys running freely downfield or getting open underneath in holes in the zone, or when they're biting on the play action out of their shoes. Why not just go over the top? So the next thing that I have here is I can explain this entire game with just these 3 stats. Notre Dame total yards, 458. Boston College total yards, 281. Notre Dame rushing yards, 159. Boston College rushing yards, 12. They had 0.4 yards per carry. And still somehow, they had a time of possession of 35 minutes and 27 seconds to Notre Dame's 24 minutes and 33 seconds. I don't even know how that's possible, where you can run the ball 12 yards and hang on to the ball for as long as they did. They did have a 12-minute drive in the start the 3rd quarter. They won the middle 8 again because we can't kick. We'll get to that. And we had a very slow start. I honestly, probably ESPN did us a favor by not making us watch that bullshit for the first 8 minutes. So thanks for that. Anything on what I just said?
Yeah, I mean, it's easier for them to have drives continue going when the refs are literally just giving them fucking penalties. I mean, that was egregious, and I'm sure we can get into that. But
which brings us to our next point.
There we go. that's
the
all the
KVA celebration. First one. That was awful. I did gently point out to Pete Sampson that was a bad call, and he said it was because of his throat slash gesture, which maybe that's what the ref saw. It's not what he did, but maybe it's what the ref saw. And poor Pete Sampson got ratioed in like 0.004 seconds by like 100 Notre Dame fans yelling at him, "That wasn't a throat slash, it wasn't a penalty," which they were all right, but he's busy, he's doing his job, so he might have typed it out in haste just to get the answer out there, like that's why they called it. So sorry, Pete. All those roughing the passers were mainly the ones against Boston College hitting C.J. Carr were all pretty bad. If that's roughing the passer, I don't want to watch the sport anymore. The face mask on 4th and 3 when we had a sack on them, if that's a face mask where you don't actually touch his helmet at all, I don't want to watch the sport anymore. And lastly, if they have a false start because you're shifting on defense and it's a totally normal shift that you're trying to get a better spot and fill a better gap on, and they call defensive aggravating bullshit or whatever it's called, I don't want to watch this game anymore. They're bastardizing our game. These ACC refs suck. They need to be shot into the sun with a cannon. DPI on Leonard Moore when he got his feet tangled and gave up a touchdown. That was also not DPI. That's incidental contact. Even though they didn't call it because it was a touchdown, and that sucked because Leonard Moore doesn't get beat. And it's the one game where it's like, we can't have our best player getting beat in that situation because it felt really tight at the time, but the defense definitely won the day. 100%.
I don't like to complain about refs because it's kind of like a whiny thing to do unless it's really justified, but honest question, When is the last time we had like a decently officiated game this season?
Arkansas.
I think you're right. I think you're right. It's been like several weeks of back-to-back just ridiculousness from these referees. Like the USC game was outrageous.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
And I mean, there's literally balls hitting turf that are going to review, and then somehow they can't overturn that. There's catches that are clear catches that are being overturned on review when you already just set the precedent before that a ball can apparently bounce off the turf and that's a catch. We still don't know what a catch is. We don't know what targeting is anymore. You should just be able to review penalties at this point because it's just getting egregious. Because if we were able to review penalties,
we'd be there all day.
Texas A&M never wins that game. Like, it's just getting absurd. I don't know. I don't.
Steve, do you know where you can review and challenge penalties in football?
Damn it.
Only on
The
scoring.
CFL.
I knew that was coming.
You can do it in the Canadian Football League, I swear to you.
Well, that's because the refs always want to say sorry whenever they can because they're Canadian.
True. Plus, they also just want to apologize for how fucking horrible the league is.
I do have a conspiracy theory on this, though, because the last 3 years I've said it every year. 3 years ago I said this is the worst officiating I ever saw. 2 years ago I said it was the worst. Last year I thought it was worse. This year it's taking the cake again. They are getting consistently worse every year, and I think they might be doing it on purpose. I think they're lowering the amount of training these guys are getting or something, and it's so that way they can get everyone into a super referee kind of league where everything's regulated like the NFL. All the salaries are regulated. Everything's going to be kind of sent out the way they want it to be. They're going to be able to start winning on insider gambling unless the FBI continues to crack down on that. Ha, 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 ha. And because there's no reason why it should be getting worse to this extent. Like, we've seen bad calls, we've seen missed calls, but it's always like 1 or 2 a game historically around our lifetimes. This is, you try and find the plays where they're not missing a call or blowing a call. Like, they're making these games, especially the replays, so hard to watch because there's no continuous momentum. Even when there is and someone's driving and they have a good play that's clearly a catch or something and they go to hurry up because they want to just keep the momentum going, stop the clock. We got to take a look at this 10 more times to prove that we're right. It just stops. The flow of the game is so tossed off because of how bad these refs are on top of the bad calls they're making. It really is. Every game is just a shit show.
Like, to your point earlier, I don't think the game was as close as the score indicates. Like, the yardage was almost double for Notre Dame. We played bad. Like, we didn't play great, but the continuous clock is a problem. Some people have suggested this is now why we have parity in college football. I think it's an interesting thesis. I think it might have a factor. I don't know if it's the only reason. But that single-handedly kept Boston College in the game. Like, they killed, 11 minutes on their opening drive in the third quarter?
It was much more than that. I have it right here. It was 21 play, 11 minute, 20 second, 74-yard drive.
So I was spot on with 11 minutes. Thank you.
No, it's 11 minutes, 20 seconds, bitch.
So, like, I don't know. I'm a little getting concerned because the Notre Dame offense seems to be sloppy as hell in the first half in the last 3 or 4 games now. I don't like that because we were firing on all cylinders Arkansas afterwards, like NC State. Like, we were playing good there. I don't know. Are you guys concerned at all about this team?
I think that Denbrock has not been fantastic. He's been really good for the most part, but it's like I think Denbrock almost wants to prove a point sometimes rather than just win the series. Just move the chains, get points, right? I think he's trying to prove something rather than and maybe set something up for later in the game, but it's like, dude, you got to have a sense of urgency. Have a fucking killer instinct and just go for the jugular immediately. Just kill them. Put them down. Put them out. You go up 21 points, then you can just, let the running, just run downhill at that point. But just, just kill them. Fucking kill them. Why are we... Eli Raridan is 6'7". He has no touchdowns. How is he not a main target? Right? Like, come on. Stop running the ball into piles. We had a fumble. I mean, we left at least 14 points out there. And what was the final score of this game? 25-10? Now, assuming that we could actually make a kick, and we're going to cover that, but we left 10, 14 points out there. So with a running clock on the road, you played, solid, a little bit sloppy, but you still played solid. It was a B. It was a solid B game, maybe B plus if you're being generous. But if we win that game 37-10, are you mad? Do you say that Notre Dame, we should have put belt to ass for style points? I would say no. If it was 37-10, I'd be like, fucking. Yeah, it's a rivalry.
I wouldn't be mad, but I'd be maybe frustrated. Like, you could have done more, maybe, but
I would have been perfectly happy with 34, 37 points, which was absolutely within reason and within play if we could just fucking execute. But it's just like between sloppy play, penalties, turnovers, with Jadarian Price's fumble, and just the inability to make to convert in big moments. It's just like, yeah, it's Boston College. We're going to win that game. Yeah, we're going to beat Navy. Yeah, we're going to win out against the rest of our schedule, knock on wood, hopefully, although we got a tough one coming in 2 weeks from now with Pittsburgh. But we can handle getting through the rest of the year 10-2 with the way that our team played this past weekend. Are we getting through the end of January the way that we played, or have been playing the last 3 weeks or so since the Arkansas game?
It's going to be very hard to win a playoff game when Jadarian Price
get burned.
That's his third fumble inside the end or red zone, mainly inside the 5-yard line. If that happens in a playoff game, it's going to be very impossible to come back from that, like we saw against Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not too bothered at this moment, because we've seen, even last year, we saw Notre Dame work out some kinks during their 11 straight wins to finish the regular season. It's more so just getting at your best for the playoff, assuming we get in. We're going to get some live college football playoff rankings later today, which is going to say a lot, because I think Notre Dame has a lot of variance here. So let me actually sidetrack the conversation for a second. We did our top 25s for this week. We haven't released it yet, but I've seen them all. Both of you guys have Notre Dame ranked ahead of Miami. I have Miami ranked ahead of Notre Dame. I think this is an interesting debate. Obviously we are the Notre Dame propaganda podcast, but let's just kind of have that debate here, because I'm curious what you guys kind of think is a winning factor for Notre Dame in that comparison.
Tim, you go ahead first.
Mine's just because I fucking can. But
perfectly legitimate.
If I was on the CFP committee, it would be hard to justify it, because you have the head-to-head right there and they're the same record. But Miami doesn't really have any good wins either. They have decent wins in conference, but nothing outstanding. And you've seen them get embarrassed twice. And according to Kirk Herbstreit and the College Football Playoff Committee, their job's not to put in the 12 most deserving teams, but put in the 12 best teams. And they've been living and dying by that sword, and to our dismay sometimes. So this year, F it. I'm on board. Stay consistent.
Yeah, my rationale behind it, it's first and foremost for Notre Dame, night game, first game of the season, first career start, freshman quarterback. You can forgive them losing by 3 points. They had the ball with a chance to tie it. They just, I think if they had enough time, they would have. We just ran out of time. So that's forgivable. You lose by 1 point because of a missed extra point with something to the number 3 team in the country right now, and one of the hottest teams that is on pace to probably go undefeated, if not 11-1 in Texas A&M. That's going to fight for an SEC title. Those are the first 2 games of the season. We've obviously won every single game ever since. Some we've dominated, and I think an opponent in kind with other major teams like our domination of Arkansas, where Arkansas has been very competitive. Likewise with other SEC teams like Ole Miss, right? So I think that's a factor, and the fact that Notre Dame has they have not tripped up ever since. They've only been winning. They've only been ascendant and getting theoretically better week over week, whereas Miami starts off really hot and then you just see them sputter, and they're losing down. Notre Dame lost up, whereas Miami is losing down. So I think that the committee will say, Notre Dame put two of the best games possible in really tough situations and lost again by at the time a combined 4 points the first two career starts for a freshman against top 10 teams. That's way more forgivable than Carson Beck has no idea how not to fucking throw an interception in a crucial moment. So yeah, I that's my rationale behind it. Hopefully I'm right, and hopefully the prognosticators that are saying that Miami should be ahead just because of head to head. I get it. It does make sense, but I'm just trying to do the mental gymnastics of getting Notre Dame into the playoff hunt, and anything that I can do to propagandize, that is legitimately my job.
I can look ahead for us, though, too, because Miami had a 70% chance to beat SMU. Obviously, they lost. They have a 72% chance to win at Pitt. That's at Pitt. So, Notre Dame, let's try not to scuff up the field too bad, but we are on the visiting sideline. So, make that shit, take a rotavator to that sideline on the way out the door.
I think you're right, Steve, in the sense that I think the committee is going to have Notre Dame ahead of Miami tonight. I think when you lose matters for some reason. And I think, from what I understand, I could be wrong about this, but I recall reading that the committee has access to new statistics this year. It more so than in the past, including maybe some more advanced stuff. And if you're following any of the advanced models, Notre Dame is consistently in the top 5 of pretty much every model, because this is a really, really, really good football team. And I think if there's any kind of weight placed on that, I think that's going to maybe carry the day. I think head-to-head is the most important distinguishing factor between two teams with equal records. I think that's how we should have determined national championships in the past. I think we should go back and find seasons where there were head-to-heads. 1973.
1993.
There's a whole bunch of them. And I think, what's the point of playing these games if they just don't matter come November, right? Like, just because it's September, just because it's the first game of the year, just because it was a freshman quarterback, all good points. But, I mean, what was the point of playing the game then? And
I agree with you 100%.
For me, in principle, I would like to see Miami. Actually, no. I would have Miami ahead of Notre Dame. I would like to see Notre Dame ahead because at the end of the day, I'm a fan more than I am. I'll advocate my principles, but I want to see Notre Dame in the playoff. It's going to be interesting, guys, because if Notre Dame is ranked, let's say, in the top 10, we're going to have no issues. We're going to have no issues.
They're going to put them at third, just like me.
If we're going to be ranked, let's say, 11 to 14, I think we're fine. If we're put below 15, I would start to be a little worried just about how are we going to jump so many teams. Now, I picked NC State to win last week, and they did. They beat Georgia Tech. Shit like that's going to happen every week. Miami is going to lose another game. Tim, do you want to pull up their schedule real quick?
I do. So Miami they're playing Syracuse at home. They have a 96% chance to win. Playing NC State at home, they could lose that, but they have a 91% chance to win. At Virginia Tech, 89% chance to win. At Pitt, 72% chance to win.
Yeah, they're going to lose one of those two last games. And I would wager on Virginia Tech. I would hope it's Pitt, just because that would be a common opponent. So if Notre Dame and Miami were, let's say Miami wins out, we might have a common opponent there with Pitt to compare. The ACC is a problem for us. We need Virginia to lose a game. We need Louisville to lose a game. We need to keep the Big 12 out of it as much as possible, which will take care of itself. I think BYU plays Texas Tech next week, or is it They do play each other
BYU
coming up, I
plays
think.
Texas Tech this week.
This week, yeah.
And they have a
It's one of the
42%
games
chance
that
to
we
win.
picked as a spoiler.
Yeah, so that's going to be an elimination game, I would think, just because the Big 12, a lot of parity. I like it for how close and self-cannibalizing it is, but it's the worst of the 4 conferences, I think. Would you agree with that? Like, do you think those teams are better than the ACC broadly?
No, yeah,
Honestly,
the Big 12 is worse. It's the
It
worst.
really
of the
depends on who you're looking at. If you're looking at the top meat, the middle meat, or the bottom meat, because
Yeah,
every one of
that's
them has
fair.
their own specialty. I think you put every team in the ACC head-to-head against the Big Ten, ACC wins probably 80% of those games.
The Big 12?
Or no, Big Ten. I think they
You
lose
think we
the top. I think they lose to Ohio State and a couple more, and then the rest of them they take care of business. I think
That's
the Big
interesting.
Ten has is so mid this year. Maybe someone will lose to Michigan, but I'm not going to admit to that.
It's interesting because Iowa's having a decent year, but they lost to Iowa State. Washington's having a decent year, but they lost to Michigan, and Michigan lost to USC, and we annihilated USC. So it is kind of hard to gauge how good the Big Ten is this year. Steve, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think the good news is between Louisville and Virginia, there is at least one of those teams is going to be losing for the remainder of the year. Not because they're playing one another, but I'll go through their schedules really quickly. So Louisville is playing at home against Cal, at home against Clemson. The following week, they're at SMU, and then they close with Kentucky, which should be a win. But Clemson and SMU, I mean, Clemson is down, but there's still some talent there, and Dabo might be, I feel like he's not going to go down without taking swings, right? And then you have Virginia. They have Wake Forest. They have Wake Forest this
Sneaky
weekend.
game.
Wake has been a little bit better than what has been expected. They are frisky, but then after that, the next weekend, Virginia goes on the road to Duke, and Duke has been great. They have a great quarterback. That kid Mensa, I believe is his name. Yeah, so he's very talented at home. I think that's a game that Virginia can lose. So either way, I think that there is a loss between at least one of those. I don't think both are winning out, but even if just one of them wins out, and the other has a loss, then that opens up a spot for us. But yeah, Tim.
So going to last week, Virginia had a 15% chance of winning out. Louisville had a 13% chance of winning out. That has gone up since the loss, and I'm not recalculating because it's a pain in the ass to do all this. But Virginia at Duke, they have a 40% chance to win. And then Louisville at SMU, they have a 43% chance to win. The other games they have, they're not guaranteed either except for Cal. The rest are all around 70% or below 50%. So they're probably going to drop a game between each of them because this is the meat of their schedule at the end here.
Mm-hmm.
So they could both be out.
Tim, when you say those percentage chances of winning, is this based on ESPN's FPI, like their game predictor, or like where are you getting those
If I told you that
numbers?
I'm secretly really smart, would you believe me?
I believe you're secretly really smart, just not in the area of predictive analytics.
Yeah, so that was all ESPN. ESPN FBI as of the week before this one, so as of, let's say, Halloween.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. It's going to be an interesting discussion. I think we're fine overall. Do you guys want to kind of wrap up Boston College here? Because
Yeah, we've got
I have
one very
nothing.
last important
I
thing to
got not
touch
much
on.
to say about them last week or this week. They're just kind of, they exist.
How about the fact that CJ Carr, how long did he actually go in terms of time frame of missed passes? Because they had that funny metric up on the screen. It was like last incompletion, like 4 p.m. or something like that.
2 hours and 36 minutes. I watched the replay
Holy
tonight. It
shit.
was something like that.
So he was averaging like over 17 yards per completion. He was able to go over the top. Malachi, he's that dude. So, I mean, again, CJ's not perfect, but for a freshman, the arm talent that kid has and what he's able to do, again, and this just proves it. If you want to stack the box in order to stop the run game, we've got the guy that can go over the top. And then if he can put you on your heels and you start having light boxes with only 5 or 6 guys, then we have 2 ponies in the backfield that can run it down your throat, and the offensive line is really coming into their own, even despite some recent injuries and guys making their first starts of the year at Boston College. So great balance to the offense. I just wish we would have a little bit more of a killer instinct with the play calling. I think we get way too predictable inside the 15-yard line, and we got to start let your playmaking quarterback make some fucking plays. And I get he's been a little bit chaotic at times. If he can just rein that in, I think that's also been a part of it. If you look back to some of the the bad interceptions or stuff like that, I think that's why Denbrock may have been getting more conservative. But listen, if you got a Johnny Manziel, let him cook, and if he fucks up, let him learn a lesson the hard way. But don't take the ball out of his hands, and don't take your foot off the gas. Like, just go for it, man, because we obviously know that we cannot settle for 3 fucking points, because 3 points equals 0 points for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish special teams. So just go for fucking broke and stop just running it into a pile when everyone knows that you're running it. Play action boot. Like, you have a guy that can run at the quarterback position, let him run a fucking boot.
Well, if you're going to let CJ Carr make Johnny Manziel mistakes, just make sure one of them isn't illegally signing $20,000 worth of merchandise in some booster's basement.
Hey, that's allowed now.
Yeah, just make sure it's legal. 2 final points that we have to talk about with Boston College. The first one will not take that long. I hate that damned electric bass. It is un-American. I don't care if the electric bass was invented in California. It sounds stupid in a college football game. Second thing is the most important thing of all time. And I sat here in the preseason on this podcast and pounded the table, and all y'all laughed at me. You laughed in my face and said that this couldn't be possible. Well, guess what, boys? Here we are. We have a kicking problem. I said I'm a Bills fan. Nothing matters but the kicker. I was absolutely right. We left 5 points on the board at least this week, because we couldn't have how many points this season. I don't know, because we don't have confidence in kicking when it's 4th and under 5 inside the 30, but it's been a bunch. So guess what I did today? I sat and I watched every single field goal and point after attempt that Notre Dame has had this season.
That's like Chinese water torture.
I will tell you what, I learned a lot. I'm not an expert in special teams, but for the sake of this podcast today, I made sure I touched up on all my BS. I know how to hold. I know how to do all that stuff. I know the techniques. I know how to kick. I know how to snap. I'm an expert now. I got my degree at FU University. And I got to say, there are 2 common denominators. Start there for all these missed kicks this year. And it's not the kickers. It is the snapper and the holder. They have been there for every one of these. And if you think they're not a problem, boy, do I have news for you. So let's go ahead and start with Buckner. The way that you want to be set up when you're holding a field goal, let me start there, give the audience here a little lesson in holding, because who the hell studies holding techniques besides me and the people that actually do it for a career? The way you want to set up is you want to have your front leg your knee almost pointing up the center's ass. That gives you a lot of room to be able to kind of maneuver around. You're going to have that leg bent back underneath you. You're kneeling on your front leg, your right leg for Buckner with a right-legged kicker. Your back leg is pointing directly perpendicular off to the sideline. This is giving in your knee, your joint in your knee is where that center wants to snap the ball, because that's going to be right over the spot where you're going to put the ball down. So that's what he's aiming for. Buckner has a very closed stance. And it's gotten more open as the season has gone on, because now that I'm paying attention to it as of today, because we need to. For example, in that Texas A&M game where he dropped the snap, it was probably largely because of the way he was set up. His knee was pointing at the pylon for the front of the end zone, like very closed. His leg's almost getting in the way of his hands. It's not good. And his other leg is pointing, it's like a 45-degree wide open cone. It's not great. So that's one thing. The other thing that holders do is when the kicker goes to line up, the kicker puts his foot down, his kicking foot, on the ground. And where he puts that foot down, that's where he wants the ball. The center, or the holder, then puts his hand on the foot as he steps back where that toe was, and that's where that holder has to put the ball down. So when he gets it, he's going to catch it with both hands and put it right back where his left hand just was. Every time Buckner does it, he overshoots that spot, sometimes by a good foot, sometimes by 6 inches, sometimes by just a little bit. And that's all the difference that a kicker needs when you're trying to hit a ball that's oblong shape 40 yards in the air. Steve, you golf. If I gave you an oblong-sized golf ball and you hit it by missing it by 3 inches on the outside or inside, how well is that going to go for you?
Yeah, no, that is... Well, there's a reason why we're missing field goals by 70 feet.
Yeah,
We're
and this
missing
is one
extra
of them.
points.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to some of these.
Honestly, it reminded me of in the movie Slapshot when he hits the organist in the side of the fucking head. It's like how did one of those kicks not make it into the press box and just drill somebody? That's how far offline they were. Like, what the fuck are we doing, man?
Yeah. Well, and I will say this: you'll see the ball tilted to the right a little bit, and that's good. That's what a right-handed kick or right-legged kicker wants. A little bit tilt to the right and lean a little bit back to help them get that ball up in the air, give their angle of the foot a little bit more of a chance. You will see when Buckner holds it, it is almost at a 40-degree angle pointed directly at his head. It's like he's looking straight down on the. It's too far. It's not good. And that means that the kicker's going to either push or pull that kick. Most of the time, they'll probably pull it because they're probably they're lined up to hit it straight where it was, and it's not there where it should be. Or they're overcorrecting and they're going to push it. Either way, it's not going to help with the consistency, which is the one thing that we're definitely missing in this kicking game. Now, I'll say this. The first snap of that Boston College game, that snap was over Buckner's head, and he had to go up and get it and bring it back down. That's a lot more space for you to make a mistake when you're putting that ball down. Joseph Vinci is our long snapper. He's a freshman. He snaps the ball too high every time. And honestly, the best snap he had the entire season that I saw was the one that got dropped against A&M for the point after attempt. And that was totally on Buckner for all the reasons I've said before.
Now, one thing that I did want to add to this is that the missed field goal that we had was after we had a stopped clock. CJ Carr lines up on... It didn't really matter what down it was. We knew we weren't going for the end zone. We were just trying to get into field goal range. And they end up calling a timeout with a stopped clock when they could have ran a play. And then the very next play, Boston College drops everyone to the goal line and just gives us, a 12-yard out to the tight end. But then that means he has to get out of bounds because we have no more timeouts. And because he has to get out of bounds to stop the clock, now we're on the left hash, and then you're making a kicker now push. It's much easier for someone who's kicking. I know this. I used to be a soccer goalie, so you have to kick the ball from the goal line out. It's much easier to pull a kick because you're going across your body. It actually gives you more control than it is to push. With push, it's harder to gauge. So having to now push a kick from the left hash to your right as a right-footed kicker, it's going to make things more difficult. So, that was stupid. All they had to do, if they didn't like the defense that they saw, send 5 guys out wide and then just have CJ Carr run a draw play, stay in the middle of the field, center hash, call your fucking timeout, kill the clock, and then you have a guy that it's at least you're trying to go straight down Broadway. You're not, kicking left or right. And then if you miss the kick, then, again, we can still be critical, but that was also a moment where, the coaching staff didn't exactly set the entire operation up for success as well, which is just those tiny fucking details that against Boston College, it doesn't matter. Against Texas A&M, Indiana, fucking Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, playoff teams, that's when it's going to fucking matter. Those little details matter. That's what made the New England Patriots the New England fucking Patriots for so long. Every little detail matters. Lock this shit up now, before we get too deep into the season and we get fucked one more time, because I don't want to get fucked one more time. I want to do the fucking.
I will say, I did say that Notre Dame could play their worst game and Boston College could play their best game and Notre Dame still wins by 2 scores, and I was absolutely right. There's a detail for you.
Facts.
But in regards to the soccer kicking motion, it's a little different with a football. I learned this today, which I actually learned something new today. You're not supposed to be pulling your leg left or pushing it right. You're supposed to be lining up differently. So instead of trying to basically hit a fade or a hook shot in golf, you're trying to just hit the ball straight still, but you're aiming left or aiming more right on your setup. And your follow through, you should be going straight ahead through the ball in the direction of the goalpost, maybe a little bit left or right, depending on your preference, but usually a little left. If you go too far left, that means you're usually hooking it, or just straight up whiffing and setting it 80 yards to the right, which happened with Marcelo Diometti's kick. That was our extra point. That was the laziest fucking kick I saw the entire season. He lined up fine, he walked toward the ball fine, and he just swung his foot completely outside in swing across the ball and just hit it just to kick. He was not aiming anywhere. He was just kicking a ball. And that was not good form at all. Marcus Freeman said in his press conference, if you have 3 kickers, you have no kickers. I think we don't have a kicking coach. I think that's the issue. No one is working with these guys and because the way that all 3 of them are so different in so bad in different ways is not good. Anyone can go up there and just talk to them and get them to settle down and do the right shit. So, on to the next kicker.
Do you think if Noah Burnett wasn't hurt, because he seems to still be having a bit of an injury, we might not be too concerned? Meaning, is there hope that by the time the playoffs come around and he's healthier, he's playing like the way he was at North Carolina? Because he was a good kicker at North Carolina.
Was he, though?
He has a pretty high success rate, I
71%,
believe, right? 71%,
2 out of 3 years isn't great.
I feel like that's about where Mitch Jeter was.
That's not great.
It's college ball, man. I'll take it.
I'm not okay with
We're currently at
C's.
0% in the last few weeks here, so I'll take 70.
And here's my thought on this. I don't know why we went out and got Noah Burnett. I mean, I get why, but
I'm just to the fucking soccer team, dude.
Yeah, I'm also very tired of us going to ACC for transfer people. Like, stop. They're not the gold mine you think they are. It's just my own personal gripe. But I agree. Go to the soccer team, but not just any soccer team. Because I actually did some research, and I think I'm going to get us a kicker this year. Do you know who produces the best 17 to 22-year-old kickers in the world?
Australians?
Brazil.
That makes sense.
Their U20 team, they don't make more than like $100,000 on those teams, which is,
and they're Catholics. Culturally, there we go.
Yep, and so I don't think it'd be that hard to go down to the Brazilian or Mexican U20 or any of these countries that are just south of us that produce kickers on a daily basis, and saying, hey, you're probably never going to amount to nothing as a soccer player because there's too damn many of them. But you know what we don't have a lot of? Good kickers in college football. So come up here, pay you a couple $100,000 and kick some balls.
I feel like Brandon Aubrey's giving everyone a misunderstanding of how easy and how transferable soccer kicking is to football. Like, it is different. It's a different technique. It's a different ball. I don't know if any soccer player you could just pick off the street and have them kick better than somebody who's been practicing as a football kicker for a while. I just think we need to get a kicker. At a place like Notre Dame, it's not acceptable. You have scholarship options. You have transfer options. There should be no issues getting kickers here. I'm just hoping it's the injury. And then we've clearly maybe not identified the right kickers. I mean, I thought, is it Schmidt is his name?
Yeah, Eric Schmidt.
I thought he was a scholarship offer, too. Like, I thought he was kind of
he was a Sailor 6-star.
He was a Sailor 6-star. So that's like, true freshman, of course, shake it off, come back next year better, but, like, not super encouraging, right?
So, I've got a thing on his form here. With Eric Schmidt, he's pulling his body to the left on his follow-through, which means he's doing a little bit of an outside-in swing. Marcelo Diometti is pulling everything in his entire soul to the left, who was our third stringer. And Noah Burnett, his form's actually not bad, but the ones he's missed has been bad holds. So I don't know if it is on Burnett.
Can I'm gonna do one thing right now. I'm going to end this conversation because we've talked way too long about kicking. Shout out, Mr. P. Wagon. We appreciate the special teams and everything, but I think we're just talking too much about kicking at this point. And if we keep going, we can start playing the music, Tim. So I think if we harp on this any longer, I'm going to go insane. We are all right. Everything that we've said is correct inherently. Tim, you've been breaking it down great.
I've got one more technical piece I want to cover, though.
University of Notre Dame. We should have great kickers because we are who we are. So, real quick, any closing thoughts before we move on to the next topic? And then furthermore, what is the next topic?
Yeah, to outline the importance of this conversation, the highest scoring person in Notre Dame history is a kicker. First off. Second off, this is the last technical point. When Buckner's lining up to get the ball as a holder, his lead hand is where he wants the ball to be snapped. Like, that's the bullseye. And he's always holding it really low off the turf. It's not like he's actually telling the center where to snap it. And it could be because the snapper's hitting it way high every time, and he's trying to overcorrect like a catcher trying to tell you to throw way outside. But the whole kicking operation they need to bring in a consultant. Not me. I'm not that good. I can just tell you what's wrong. I can't help you fix it. But they need to bring in someone from the outside to fix it, because it's 3 years running now pretty bad.
How would you say the injury situation is at Notre Dame this year? And I'm asking in the context of the strength and conditioning coach.
Pretty good.
We've
held up pretty well.
He got a lot of flack last year for how things kind of, the injuries kind of mounted in the playoffs. And I wanted to just circle that back and be like, I think it's been pretty good this year. Like, I think Notre Dame's been physically fine, and I'm pretty happy with the injuries. I know it's a little off topic, but just wanted to get that out there.
Well, we got a hurt kicker.
You mentioned consultant, and I was thinking of unique hires. That's how that transpired. But
okay.
Let's move on here. We got some other big games this week coming up.
If you're gonna rip this kicking conversation from my hands, so be it.
I'm sorry, Tim. We could do a side quest that never gets released, where you could talk about all of the tape you want.
Oh, wait, one last thing. Why is people giving me shit for being mad about the kickers missing field goals and laughing about it on the sideline? I am literally, I've got I put out a tweet just said, cut them immediately because of this bullshit. You can't miss 3 kicks and laugh. And people are like, you're better than this, Tim. These kids read this. I fucking hope they do. In case they're not aware, they just missed a fucking kick because they're giggling like schoolgirls. All right, now I'm done.
All right, Steve, do you want to guide us here?
Are we getting into picks?
Yeah, horse.
All right. Well, I have everything pulled up, but Dylan, really quickly, do you have the an update on the standings, sir?
I do.
Well, we got to do our 4 horsemen, don't we?
Jeremiah Love 4 times. CJ Carr. Who else had a good game?
Chris
Tay
Ash.
Johnson.
Tay Johnson had a great game. There's 3. One more
Chris
Tim
Ash
on
is
you.
mine.
Drake had a whole bunch of tackles.
All right. Chris
You're
Ash.
just ignoring my Chris Ash.
Yeah, I heard you. It'd be hilarious if we just we're asking you things and pretend that we couldn't hear you. Okay, so Steve and I had a good week. We went 4-2 straight up. Timmy, you had a little bit of a rougher week, but that's okay. It's still a dead heat. I'm 36-20-2 straight up. I am in first. Steve 34-23-1. Tim 34-24. So we're all within 2 games of each other. And against the spread, Steve leads us 31-26-1. I'm right behind him, 30-27-1, and Tim is falling a little bit behind against the spread, 26-31-1. The spread is tough. But Steve and I are kind of pulling above 500, and then straight up, we're all kind of crushing it. So, not suggesting you gamble with our suggestions, but I think we're half decent at this. I don't know.
Well,
I don't like to be
if
spread.
you are going to gamble, it's starting with Friday night. This is going to be a fun one. This is the American Conference. It's Tulane on the road at Memphis, the number 22 team in the country. This is going to be played at 9 p.m. on ESPN. Memphis at home is favored by 5.5. Tim, who do you got?
Memphis has 5.5.
I feel like that's closed since
At Memphis.
last I looked.
That's it. Yeah, give me Memphis 5.5. They look pretty good against whoever the hell they just beat the hell out of this week. I think it was Navy. Sadly,
It was not Navy.
or who was it? It was
Navy
North
lost
Texas?
to North Texas.
was
Yeah.
it USF? Who'd they beat? Who'd Memphis beat this week? Was it Rice?
Memphis
I don't
beat
remember.
USF
I'm
the week
looking.
before.
I'm
I don't know if
looking.
Memphis played this
Memphis
week.
is good. Give me Memphis. I don't need to justify my picks. Not to you people.
All right, you're taking them
I'm-
to cover.
Yeah, I don't listen to me. You should probably pick against me.
Okay. For those of you that are avid listeners, you guys know that I have a soft spot for Tulane. I just like them. They're my G5 team. I think they're awesome. They're in New Orleans. They're a private school. They're a pretty good school. They're a former historic team. Like, they had won the SEC a couple times, which is more than what Texas A&M can say. Give me the green wave. They're a little bit off this season, but John Summerall's a great coach, and I'm pretty confident they're going to have an emphatic win this weekend at Memphis.
Tulane is a very good program, and they are going to cover that 5.5, but it's not going to be enough to beat Memphis. Memphis is going to win this game, so I'll take them straight up and Tulane to cover. Then we have arguably the game of the weekend, especially when it comes to this is effectively a quasi playoff elimination game, because I don't know if the Big Ten is going to get 2 teams in. They might. We don't know yet, but it is the number 8 BYU Cougars on the road at the Texas Tech Raiders, the number 9 team in the country. This is played at 12 p.m. noon on ABC on Saturday. Texas Tech at home is favored by 10.5. Dylan, your thoughts?
This is a tough one. I became a BYU believer when they put belt to ass on Utah. But Texas Tech at home, I'm going to be a coward. I'm going to take Texas Tech to win, but BYU to cover that large spread.
I was thinking the same thing.
Nothing wrong with that.
And as am I. BYU will cover, but Texas Tech to win.
All right, never mind. I'm changing it because I gotta catch up to you assholes. Give me Texas Tech to cover.
All right. That's a fair shout.
All right, perfect. Then up next, chronologically, it's the number 6 Oregon Ducks on the road at Iowa. This game is at 3:30 p.m. on CBS. Oregon is favored by 6.5 points.
You guys want to hear something?
Oh, boy.
You're gonna fart in the
deep
microphone?
down in the cockles of my heart was thinking this, but Dylan, are you going to do it?
I wish this was a night game because I would lay so much money on Kinnick at night, but it's not going to matter. I'm going to take Kinnick in the afternoon. Give me the Iowa Hawkeyes over the Oregon Ducks.
Wow, that's huge.
You know what it is? I'm not totally convinced on Oregon, and Iowa is a solid team. You know what they're going to do, and they're really good at home. I think this is just going to be an upset game. They're going to drain the clock. I'm taking the Hawkeyes.
What's the spread again?
I think, really quick, Tim, sorry to interject, but to your point, Dylan, Dante Moore is just an RPO merchant. Doesn't scare me pushing the ball down the field. But, Tim, go ahead.
What's the spread again?
It's 6.5 for Oregon.
Origami 6.5. Oof, that's free money. Yeah, I'll definitely get the cover because there's no way Oregon's covering 6.5 in Iowa. They're a paper tiger, and Iowa's bad, but they're not gross. I think they could win this game. So give me Iowa to win straight up.
Wow, both of you guys taking Iowa straight up. I'm going to be a coward. I'm actually taking Oregon to cover those 6.5 points, but I wouldn't doubt if Iowa wins, and I'm actually going to actively root for Iowa to win. So go Hawkeyes, but because I'm a pussy, I'm taking the favorite here. So
Why'd
sorry.
you have to remind
That
me
would
of
help. That would help Notre Dame if Oregon loses.
Yeah, very much
Listen,
so.
In classic Big Ten games, we're rooting for Iowa, like the Big Ten championship game versus Michigan. This is another all-time classic Big Ten historical game between the historical Big Ten Oregon versus the historical Big Ten Iowa, the Big Ten West Iowa. And they always let us down. You've let us down enough, Iowa. Don't do it again. That's all I want to say.
Well, also at 3:30 on Saturday, we have the number 3 Texas A&M Aggies on the road at the number 19 Missouri Tigers. This game is going to be played on ABC, which is weird because you would think that the Big Ten would be on ABC and the CBS would be the SEC. I don't know. If you get mad at me,
CBS is now with the Big Ten as well as NBC and Fox, and the only rights carriers to the SEC is ESPN/ABC. I'm a nerd for this, so yeah. I apologize.
Well, hopefully all of the executives get punched very hard in the face because they're ruining the sport that I love. So fuck all of them and fuck this race for $1 trillion bullshit. Preserve the soul of the sport. But regardless of that, it's A&M favored by 6.5 points on the road. Tim, who you got?
I've got to warn you that this was an FPI predictor that Texas A&M only has a 55% chance of winning this game, which is not good. But the good news is we've seen Missouri play at home all season long, and they've lost to Bama, and anyone at their caliber, they're not better than. So give me Texas A&M to, what is it, 6.5 you said?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Give me Texas A&M to win. And give me Texas A&M to cover their mouths while they beat them in the back of the head with a baseball bat. Texas A&M blows them out.
I don't know. The battered Aggie syndrome meme is real, and I'm just kind of waiting for the bottom to fall out. I do think they'll lose a game before the SEC championship game. This is a tricky game. But you can kind of fade me on Missouri this year, man. I'm not the biggest Missouri guy. I don't know why. I like Eli Drinkwitz. I think A&M's got too much speed offensively, and I think their defense has gotten better and better. I think the Aggies are going to win, but I'll take Missouri to cover 6.5.
The reason why you're not all the way in on Missouri this year is because Bo Pribula is not a good quarterback, and that's why they are not going to win this game nor cover. So give me A&M to cover those 6.5 points in a victory. Last game should have been so much better, should have been way more hyped. There is a hilarity to this that we don't get to see Brian Kelly lose to Alabama again and lose another big game again. But is the Brian Kelly-less LSU Tigers unranked on the road at number 4 Alabama in Tuscaloosa. This game played at 7:30 p.m. on ABC, and Bama is laying 10.5 points. Tim, just make fun of it. Go for it, yeah.
Oof. Well, is there a former Alabama Nick Saban coach at LSU now in the interim? Who is their interim coach?
Quick Google search.
This is going to make all the difference here because we know interim coaches or former Bama coaches can't beat Bama.
Interim coach is Alex Watkins, the tight ends coach and running game coordinator. Nope, that's a lie. I got two different headlines. I'm sorry. Frank Wilson.
Like volleyball?
I don't know.
Wilson!
Yeah. Wow. Frank Wilson, whoever the fuck that is. As a side note, Jaden Osbury's dad was just promoted to the AD of LSU. That's just something noteworthy for the future. But, yeah.
Is that interim or is that a full-time promotion? Because I thought maybe he was the temporary AD until they hired a new one.
I see the word interim in a headline, so that's my presumption.
Okay. I'm going to go first, guys. This game's going to be really close. Like, really close. And I'll tell you why. There is a phenomenon in sports. When you fire a head coach and bring in a new one, there's a little bump in play. I don't understand what the psychological aspects of it are, but the team tends to respond better when the coach gets fired. The problem is LSU is just not good enough running the ball and stopping other teams from scoring on them. And Alabama can do those things. Alabama is moving. Alabama will win, but I'm going to take LSU to cover here.
All right. Well, let me just to give you a little list down memory lane here. I'm not sure if you remember this or not, Dylan, but week 1 they did lose to Florida State.
They did.
Week 1 ever, they only won by 3 at Georgia. Then they only won by 16 at Vanderbilt. Then they only won by 3 at Missouri. Then they only won by
only 16.
7. They only won by 7 in South Carolina, and it was a game they should have lost. This is not the Bama that we're used to. This is a Bama that can drop one at any time, and this is going to be the time. Those Tigers are going to come out, and they're going to look to their governor up in this throne room up there in the suites, and they're going to say, "This is for you, Landry. You talk shit about Brian Kelly and the AD we all hated. We're winning this one for you, dog. Give me the Tigers."
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers. I'm boring. I'm taking my 3rd straight favorite here. Yeah, I don't know. I think LSU is just in disarray. If they still had something on the rails, I would have probably taken them straight up as an upset in this game. But I don't know. I think they're a hopeless program at the moment, and I'm going to take Bama to win and cover.
Can I give you my last reason why LSU's going to win? Well said!
Electric. Well, that brings us into the game on Saturday. I'm actually going to be in Utah. My best friend is getting married, so the game is at 7:30 p.m. on NBC, as always. But for me, it's going to be a 5:30 p.m. game, which sucks because that's like right in the middle of the what's it called? Recession? No, not recession. Concession? Nope. I'm going to get
Reception.
Yep, that's exactly what was
Is there
on my mind.
recession after a
Thank you,
funeral?
Dylan.
So that could be the same thing.
I mean, I'm 9 concussions deep, man. You have to give me some fucking grace from time to time. Leave me alone. Anywho. So, yeah, I'm not going to be able to see this game live, so I will not be able to live tweet and have a mental breakdown if we miss a kick or don't step on their throat offensively. But Notre Dame is favored at home by 26.5 points against Navy. Navy is having a pretty decent year, and they get a little bit frisky in the passing game with this quarterback who had been getting some Heisman hype, but really not that much, especially after they lost recently. So it's Navy. We know who they are and what they are. We know that we should win this game, and as always, like, the takeaway is just please everyone get through this fucking game with your kneecaps intact. And I mean, I'll turn over to you, Tim, first for your analysis, and then we'll go to Dylan.
Yep, so I actually didn't hate my life as much this week. I didn't get to watch every single Navy game because I was too busy watching every single Notre Dame kick. So I'm not a total psychopath. I mixed it up a little bit this week. I did look at one of the comments in Spotify from a few weeks ago, and someone named Cody Thompson with 3 N's from the comments said that he is going to this game. I will let you all know there is a 90% chance of me going to this game, just like there's probably a 90% chance that there won't be a flyover while the government remains in a shutdown and we're playing Navy. I think that's horse cock. But if you want to come hang out with us at the tailgate, hit me up on Twitter. I talked a big game and said I'm doing prime rib. I don't think I'm doing prime rib. I realized how hard that would be to do it at tailgate. But feel free to hit us up. So, analysis. This is not your father's Navy. It is not just a triple option anymore. It's a quadruple option. A quoption, if you will. They have finally added a passing threat to their offense. Blake Horvath, while he does have 926 yards rushing, their quarterback, he also has 1,143 yards passing. He has a 64% completion percentage, 13 rushing touchdowns, 7 passing touchdowns, 5 interceptions. A few of those were tips. They could throw the ball this year. I don't think they'll be able to throw it as well as they have against other AAC teams, against Notre Dame, but they have proven that they can absolutely throw the ball this year. So we can't stack the box. We can't play knowing that they're only going to throw the ball once or twice this game because they're going to throw it at least 15, 20, possibly 25 times. So we got to respect the pass a little bit. That being said, we have been preparing for this triple option offense since the preseason, every week the scout team is running a triple option look just to keep it fresh in everyone's mind.
Shout out Blake Hebert.
Yep. He's running that, I believe, because Buckner was no longer running the scout offense for that look, I don't think. I listened to the press conference, half listening today, and I think that's what I heard. So the good news is their quarterback may be fast, but you know who isn't? Their running back. This guy is white boy speed to a T. He will get caught from behind anytime he's in open space. There was one play that I saw today where he actually got really lucky. The defender got fallen into by his own guy as he was about to make the tackle. And not 3 steps later, he tackled himself by tripping himself up. This is not a great running back at all. He's like a fullback that's not a fullback. He's a half fullback. He is the definition of halfback. He will not be a threat. He will not beat us. He will not even be on our radar. He might break off at most a 15 to 30-yard run at most. He cannot go any farther than that.
You've just secured his 100-yard touchdown run by saying that, right?
If we're timing with an hourglass, then sure, yeah, he might be able to do it. You literally, I think Gabe Rubio could catch up to this guy from behind. That is a slight hyperbole, but it's not a complete exaggeration. This guy is incredibly slow in space. Their defense is still their defense. Has not changed. That is still your father's Navy. Their defense is still not the worst, not the best, definitely beatable. We should be able to do what we want on offense. If they stack the box, please go over their head. It's not that hard. Their D-backs are not great in man. They play mostly zone. When they do play man, they are way behind the receiver by steps at a time. I think we'll be in good shape for this game. As always, just get out of here healthy. It is a night game. I do want to emphasize that. And the worst thing that could happen, the worst possible thing that could happen in this game for Notre Dame is the weather report. From 5 o'clock p.m. to midnight, it is a consistent 40% chance of rain. In the 40s. And why am I going to this game, I ask? I question that as well. But I am. So there's your analysis.
You got a urinalysis? What's wrong?
A lot of alcohol
You
in the
weird
bloodstream.
lately, or?
Actually, turns out going on a bender for 2 months and eating nothing but red meat and drinking beers did raise my blood pressure to 145 over 99 or something like that. It's back down to something over 90, but I was definitely not healthy for those 2 months I was in Notre Dame, so let's get that back up. We got to punch those numbers up.
Speaking of high blood pressure, Dylan, is this game going to give you a mental breakdown, or are you feeling confident?
I feel confident, especially the way we demolished Navy last year. Not that it's the same Navy or Notre Dame teams, but I think we've figured out in our last several games how to just put the triple option away. And like you said, Steve, it is kind of a quadruple option now. But we're bigger, we're faster, we're stronger. We should put it away. My only concern for this game is the running clock, is the new time rules in college football. If we can't get off the field, Navy, this might look really close. It might be a 17-7 game if we can't get off the field. I think we will. I think we'll be able to stop them offensively, and I think we will pretty much score every drive we have, and if we don't, probably somebody's missed a kick. So, boring year for James Rendell because he hasn't really punted much, and that's a good thing for everybody else. He's a good punter, don't get me wrong. Would rather not punt. So, I think we should be fine. I'm very curious to see how the work management load is shared between Love and the rest of the backs as we get closer to the end of the season. And I say that for 2 reasons. 1, Jerry Price has had some fumble issues. And 2, Jeremiah Love's a Heisman candidate. Are we going to see the coaching staff maybe work him a little more to kind of pad those stats the rest of the year? And then I want to see what C.J. Carr can do. Your receiver should be able to get open this game. I want to see some dynamite. So I'm not too worried, Steve. I think we'll be fine. Just more concerned about the getting off the field and then the clock. That's about it.
Yeah, exactly. Which, by the way, I'm pretty sure this is a 57.5 over/under. I would probably take the under in this game, and I have with my projected score. Just as a quick heads up on that. Um, yeah. Let's see. I think that. And also something to compound upon is that if Jeremiah Love, I think, averages 135 yards a game over the next remaining 4 games, then he'll break Vegas Ferguson's, I don't know, his record for the most rushing yards in a single season in Notre Dame history. So that's also on the line. This is a game that if we've seen Jay Love break out before, and the 200 yards in this game is certainly on the table, especially if they use him as a horse. But I don't want him to be overused because it's not worth breaking a record or shitting on Navy if he's going to be injured again and not be able to show up against like last year against Penn State or Ohio State in the playoff. He was good, just in the moments, but the stats weren't there because he was just used seldom. So. Staying healthy is the priority one over everything, but if we can get him into the Heisman mix, go for it. I'd love to see Aeneas Williams too. Sure, fuck it. Why not? I'd love to see the backups get into this game. If we can get a nice blowout going, see some Kenny Minchie action, I'm down for it all. So, but I'm going to assume that this game is going to be closer than expected, and maybe we pull away late. I have a score in my mind. I don't really have any more analysis to add, but any closing thoughts before we get into score predictions?
Yeah, I agree with everything you guys said, and I will continue to say this every year for as long as I have a voice. We should play, if we're going to continue to play Navy every year, we should play them on Senior Day so we can put in a bunch of people that if they get hurt, they're going on with their lives. They're not trying to play football again. I know that sounds cruel, but it's been a thought of mine for a long time. I'm tired of seeing our starters get hurt because we don't want anyone to get hurt, but I mean, if you're going to pick a body to get hurt, don't have it be a starter. That's why you put in the backups at the end of the games. I'm not just an asshole. One last thing I do want to point out, because I'm not sure if anyone knows this or not. I am a former seaman. When my dad was on the USS Enterprise, I was in his balls. So, I was a seaman.
Isn't that like the ship from Star Trek?
It's also an aircraft carrier.
Cool.
Yeah, learn your American history can.
You know what? I think I could beat most of your country in a test on American history.
Yeah, we're pretty dumb over here. Anyways, so my score prediction. I think Navy could and will score 3 times this game at least. Whether those are field goals or touchdowns, I don't know. So I'm going to go ahead and say Navy 24, Notre Dame 45.
It's a lot of scoring.
Just so the line is 26.5, is that right?
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
sir.
what I'm looking at.
Okay, so you have Navy covering.
Yeah.
Steve, I think we're going to get close to each other again. Because I also have the under. Let's see. I have Notre Dame covering, I think. 35-6, the Fighting Irish will just stifle the Navy offense and score on 5 possessions.
It's uncanny. 42-10. Yeah, so I think they'll get a touchdown and a kick, and I think this game will probably be like 28-10 heading into the fourth quarter, and then we pull away late. That's my estimation. So don't be alarmed if it's closer than it is. Again, I think that's more running clock to Dylan's point than anything. Obviously, we are far superior, and I don't really care about style points. Just win, baby. It's 8:10. Let's before we close up shop. Let's just do a quick Twitter browse and see if we have the CFP rankings coming out.
Yeah, they might milk it for an hour too because it's also ESPN.
They
That's
should
true.
not. They absolutely should not.
All right, I mean we're up to number 21 so far. So we have 25 through 21 posted as of 1 minute ago. So I don't feel like staying on and
Well,
and
can you at
live.
least not tease us with, or me? I don't care about the listeners because they're going to see it before we do, but don't tease me like that.
Yeah.
I'll probably just edit out this whole section since we're not going to cover it. So say whatever dirty words you want now.
All right. Well, since we're gonna edit it out, then. Been holding that in for a while.
What a solid squeaker! That was incredible. Bravo, sir.
I almost got to keep it in now.
All right, I mean, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna be traveling this weekend,
Hang
so I'll
on,
be
we got it
watching
right
everything
here.
on-
They're going from 15 to 10 right now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know
Steve,
what? We may as
we're
well
here.
not edit this out and
We're
just
here.
hang out
We're
and
here.
let the audience enjoy Steve's antics,
Loose asshole,
and we will give you live commentary. Michigan 21, Missouri 22, Washington 23, Pitt 24, Tennessee 25. I am so glad Tennessee is down low. I feel like a crazy person for having them very lowly ranked. Okay, real quick. Gun to your head. Does Notre Dame finish ahead or behind Miami in the first ranking?
Well, I already know the answer because Nicole Auerbach just tweeted 1 second ago.
Oh, God. What is it, Steve? Break the news.
Starting at number 20, Iowa. Number 19, USC. Number 18, Miami. Number 17, Georgia Tech. And number 16, Vanderbilt.
Wow.
I'm so
okay,
happy.
then. Do we finish in... All right, we'll say 11 and a half, over, under. Are we going to be inside the top 11 or outside of it?
I definitely want to have knowledge of the future, but I'll say inside of it. I'm definitely not watching it right now.
All right, wait. I'm
Wow.
seeing...
What are you
I'm
sensing?
I'm seeing Louisville at 15. I'm also seeing Oklahoma at 12, but I don't see 13 or 14.
All right.
Fuck.
15, Louisville. 14, Virginia. 13, Utah. 12, Oklahoma. Number 11, Texas.
Texas. Notre Dame is in the top 10.
That's
So
it.
Or we're not in it at
worried.
all. We might not be in it at all.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We'll be probably number 10 there. That is fantastic. Fantastic. Because I've been saying for weeks, I need to know where we come in on the committee's rankings before I can give you an outlook on if we're going to get in or not. If we start at 10, we're fine. Just keep winning. Win your goddamn games.
Yeah, we inside
I
track.
would be concerned. I would be concerned if we were 16. So, wow, ahead Miami at 18. That's fantastically
We are number 10.
interesting.
Number 10.
Number 10. You heard it here first, folks. A day later, or whenever you're listening to this, live, Notre Dame ranks 10 in the college football playoff rankings.
All
How do you
right,
guys feel about that?
Dylan, I'll let you rip a tweet from the main account, and I'll filibuster in the meantime. Again, we're on the inside track here. So the message is, especially after a sloppy win against Boston College, it doesn't matter. Just win your fucking games. So it doesn't matter if we just win the fucking games. Just beat Navy, beat Pittsburgh. Just win out, and then we're gonna be there. And there's a good chance that. Again, one of the teams ahead of us has to lose this week between Texas Tech and BYU. So we're automatically going to be moving up to 9 if we win. And what is it? Is it teams 5 through 8 will host the home games? Who hosts the home games? In
Yeah,
the first
5
round?
through 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That is correct.
that means
We could.
we're on the inside track right now. If we have one more loss ahead of us from that, then that means we're going to be hosting a home game, as the 8 seed hosting the 9 seed. So, and then we would get the number 1 seed in the second round, which will hope maybe be Ohio State, which could actually be early on redemption, right? And then just get that out of the fucking way. And then,
Well,
who knows?
Ohio State's going to get a bye because I don't think they're losing to
Well, that's what I'm
Michigan.
saying. If we host a
again.
home game as the 8 seed against the 9 seed and win, then we get the number 1 seed next, which would
you're
presumably be Ohio State. So there's a chance, because of these rankings, there's a chance that Notre Dame is hosting a home playoff game, which, Tim, I'm going to let you wax poetic on to give Dylan some more time. What would that look like for you?
That would look like at least 40 beers that day. That would be it. If I'm blessed to go to a Notre Dame home playoff game 2 years in a row, my fiance better just get used to this because it's going to happen every year. The rest of my life, I'm going to a Notre Dame home playoff game. Oregon's at 9, Texas Tech is at 8, which means BYU's probably going to be 7. So this is all good news. We could definitely be hosting. We might get a bye. Screw it. Aim high. Yeah, BYU 7.
I just want to be on the opposite side of the bracket of Ohio State, who I'm going to assume is the 1 seed by the end of this. So as long as we're not 8 or 9, I feel good. I don't want them in the second game.
They just put Penn State at 6.
Yeah, right.
Just kidding. It's all mess.
Oh, man. Well, I feel pretty good. I feel like it's a good way to maybe wrap this one up. But any last thoughts here before we say goodbye?
Yeah. Now I feel more inclined to go to this game this weekend now because I feel like I'm rooting for a cause. And I'm going to wear I think my raincoat is still wet from that USC game, so I have to throw that in the dryer for another week until we get there because it rained so much that day. I'm going to have fun. Again, if anyone's there, hit me up. George is number 5 at 7-1. And it's going to be a blast. It's going to be another fun day at Notre Dame until 5 o'clock when it starts pouring on us again. But I had my tent. So, go Irish, Sig Navy.
Go Irish.
Go Irish, pump semen.
Hell yeah.
That's incredible.